Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us or a good idea for a leather element, drop it in the comment box below. Also, if you want to know when our videos release, just click your notifications. You'll know exactly when these come out. So we get a lot of questions from folks on Line 24 snaps. We've got some tricks, some tips here. I hope there's something that's going to help. Let's start right here, because if I talk to 10 people that are having trouble setting their snaps, 9 out of 10, it's because we've got the wrong setter. Very easy to do. We'll look at that. But for the new folks, here's just a quick rundown on two sizes of snaps. We've got a Line 24 snap, larger cap. This is typically for our heavier weights, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10 ounce. Very common snap. We see this everywhere. We've also got a Line 20 snap, much smaller snap. This is good for our weights, say 4 to 5, maybe 5 to 6. Now these tricks and tips are going to work for both of these, but we're going to concentrate more on our Line 24. Now technically, this is how we typically see our snap set. We've got a cap and a socket. Then down here, we've got a post and a stud. The reason I say that is because we can reverse these. All we're doing here is we're riveting these two pieces onto our project. These are the two pieces that are going to bite. Now, on our setter, the reason I say it's so easy to do this, notice the difference between a Line 24 and a Line 20. Very similar, just a little bit different in size. So if we're having trouble, most likely that's our problem. Now, at Weaver, we sell our setters in two ways. First off, this is our 4-piece deluxe set. This is a great buy. We've got an anvil, but we've also got Line 20, 24, Segma, and a rivet setter. But we also sell these separately, just a setter and an anvil. One great thing about this anvil, if we need to set rivets on smaller pieces or tighter areas, we can certainly do that. That's a big help. Okay, let's step over to our punch table. Here's a trick that has helped me time and again when I've got just a little too much leather for my Line 24. We can do it. Now let me say this, at Weaver Leather, we've got what's called a long barrel Line 24. That's just under a 1/2 inch on the post. It's about 1/8 of an inch more than our standard snap. Now if we don't have those, and for so long I didn't know they existed, we're going to make it work. Now when I punch a hole for a Line 24, typically I want to go with an 1/8 inch rotary or drive, simply because I want that post to be snug in that hole. That's going to give us our best bite and our best durability. But if we're just a bit too thick, let's go with a larger hole, like a 3/16 inch. Okay. We've got an oversized hole punched here. So now what I'd like to do is press that leather down around that hole. All right, well, let's start right here. Let's flip this over. Now we can use a ball peen hammer and hammer that down. But in all honesty, what that's doing is creating a bit of a funnel. So if we set our snap too hard, it's going to draw that flange in. So right here, this is a big help. We most likely have this in our shop. It's the handle for our standard letter set. So let's take this. Good. Now we've compressed that leather. Now I can take my cap. That may buy us just enough room to be able to set the snap, and it'll work the same on the post and the stud. Now let's work in the other direction, because from time to time, I'd like to use a Line 24 on a thinner weight leather. Well, first off, it's a stronger snap than a Line 20. But secondly, say we've got a wider strap but a thinner weight leather, Line 20 is just not going to look proportionally good on that, whereas the Line 24 is going to look better. Now, here's the problem though. We push that through on a 4 to 5 ounce. Notice how much post I have sticking up there. That is never going to set well. I've set 10,000 snaps and I'm not going to be able to pull that off. What's going to happen is that post is going to either crush or it's going to bend over on us. So our snap, it's all out of whack and it's going to look terrible. It's going to create a big mess. So how about this? Just like our double cap rivets, let's punch some donuts. Now, great thing about veg tan, multiple possible weights. So right here, I've got a 4 to 5. How about let's go with maybe like a 5/6 or 6/7. That's almost perfect. Now, we could go with another 4 to 5. Technically, that's an 8 to 10 ounce. That's going to work for us. But just as an example, we could bump up to an 8 to 9 ounce. Yeah, that's not going to set at all. But all told, that's actually a skirting weight. Now, on our round punch, that's a 1/2 inch. It's kind of an obscure size for our shop, one we're not going to use that often. But in all honesty, these are just like a sewing machine. We don't realize how much we're going to use these until we get them in our shop, and we're always surprised. Now, a 1/2 inch, that'll punch a pretty good donut or washer. But right here, I tend to like a 5/8 and a 3/4 a little bit better. Punches a little bit larger donut. Well, here's the problem. Brand new, very expensive tools. And for us crafters, not really worth the money. But if we look at garage sales and flea markets, we can always find the larger punches at a very reasonable price. I love our Decorative Cap Line 24s. These are so cool, I've actually designed a project around the snap I'm going to use. But they can be a little bit tough to set because right here, one of my favorites, the floral. Well, that's rounded and we've got a post on the end. That's not going to sit in either anvil. In fact, right there, we'll never get that to set well. So let's create our own anvil. I'm going to take a piece of 8 to 9 ounce and let's get that good and wet. In fact, let's go with our compass rose. Right here, I've just got a dowel. In fact, that's a sanding block in my shop, but I've drilled a hole in the end large enough to take the barrel of our snap. So let's lay that in. And now let's just work that down into our leather. Good, okay? So basically, we've just created our own anvil. Let's let that dry. From here on out, whenever we set that snap, we're never going to have a problem. Now, one more point for those of us that are new, but also with a little more experience, because I have to remind myself of this. Like I said, we're just riveting the socket and the stud onto our strap. Here's where I'm going with that. So say we've got something like a keychain. We can absolutely use our caps on the outside and then set our socket and our stud with those, so we don't have a backside to that. But on that same note, we can do that with the posts as well. Say we're going to line the back of our strap and we need a flat surface there. We can do exactly the same thing, and there we are. Well, I hope this is good information, but I also hope there's something in here that's going to help us set the perfect Line 24 each and every time. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.